If you are selected as a juror on this medical malpractice case, are you going to put the doctor on a pedestal as you begin to hear testimony? You want to know what this is all about? Come join me for a moment as I share with you something really important in these medical malpractice cases. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. All right, let's say you brought a lawsuit against your doctor claiming that he was careless and that his carelessness was a cause of your injury. And now the doctor denies all of your allegations, says, "Why are you suing me? I did nothing wrong." Well, now, 2 or 3 years down the road, your case finally comes up for trial. And the judge tells the attorneys, "All right, counselors, go pick a jury and then we'll start the trial." All right. Now, during the course of jury selection, we are put into a room with 30 strangers from the community. Our goal is to obtain and try and get 6 members of the community who have told us they can be fair and impartial. Now, do you think if I came right out and said to these people, I said, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, are you biased?" Do you think she's going to come right out and admit in front of a room full of strangers, "Yes, Mr. Oginski, I'm biased"? No, it's not going to happen. Or do you think if I said, "Hey, Mr. Gold, are you prejudiced?" You think he's ever going to turn around again in front of a room full of strangers, people he doesn't know? Or even he did know. He's never going to admit he's prejudiced. Instead, I might ask this question. "Mrs. Jones, when the doctor who is being sued gets up to testify, the fact that he is a physician and has gone through many, many years of training to become a board-certified physician, are you automatically going to elevate him and put him on a pedestal, meaning that he can do no wrong?" How do you feel about that? And now I'll hear what this person has to say. And then I'll turn to juror number 2 and say, "Hey, do you agree with that juror's comments?" If one of the jurors says, "Yes, I think that all doctors are above everybody else because of their advanced knowledge and training," and now there's no possible way that that person could ever do anything wrong. Now I'll turn to the next juror and say, "Hey, what do you think about that? Do you think that's true, or do you think that doctors are human and can sometimes be careless, and that carelessness can sometimes cause injury? Do you think that's possible?" Because now I have to identify whether or not they are leaning in favor of one side or the other. And I do that by asking them key questions such as, will you put the doctor on a pedestal, thinking that he can do no wrong based upon his knowledge, his expertise, and the number of years he spent training to become a doctor? Because there are some people who do that, subconsciously even. They say, "Hey, I can't believe a patient would sue their doctor." Why? Because this person has never had a bad experience. Because this person loves their doctor. Because they go to the doctor and they put their lives in the doctor's hands and they trust that the doctor will do right by them. And you know what? For the most part, that is what happens. However, there are instances where a physician is careless and that carelessness causes harm and injury. And if something they say triggers something in my mind that suggests they might be leaning in favor of one side or the other before they heard any testimony, before they heard any evidence, that tells me we're not starting out at the same fair point, that somebody's already starting ahead, and we can't have that. And now I have to ask, are you automatically going to put this doctor up on a pedestal merely because he's a physician and has an MD after his name? Or will you keep an open mind and consider the possibility that this doctor was careless at a particular day, at a particular time? Is that something you can do? Or what about a juror who turns around and says, "You know what? I think cases like these are totally frivolous." Oh, really? That's very interesting. Have you heard any testimony yet? Have you heard the story of what happened? Have you heard any evidence for you to confirm that this is in fact frivolous? And by the way, how do you define frivolous? Certainly the doctor's going to claim that this case is frivolous and never should have been brought and deny that he did anything wrong. But yet the patient and our experts claim just the opposite. And now I'll say to juror number 2, what do you feel about that? And how do you feel about that? So this just gives you an inside look of what really happens in jury selection here in the state of New York. You know, I realize you're likely watching this video because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit but have not done so yet because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.